So what is Brownian motion? Brownian motion is any of different physical phenomena that where a small quantity or a quantity is undergoing small random fluctuations constantly. In fluids, we typically see this as diffusion. It's where a particle is bombarded with constant collisions, causing it to undergo lots of random fluctuations and move around quite a bit. Why does this happen? This is because there's lots of particles around you. Let's take this lid. If you have particles hitting it over here, and if you have particles hitting it over here, on average, because there's so many particles in air, it's gonna stay in the same place. It's not gonna move a lot. And because the particles of the air are so small, the molecules are so small, they're not gonna have a big impact on something as massive as this. The mass difference is too huge. What Scottish botanist Robert Brown, the guy who discovered Brownian motion, did was he took pollen grains, put them on water, and viewed them under a microscope. And he saw that they were shaking wildly. This is because sometimes on one side of the pollen grains, there was a lot more collisions happening. On the other side, momentarily, these collisions, it creates these collision imbalances, causing the particle to move from side to side in random walk. We can see this in a simulation, but let's think about what is Brownian motion and what factors affect it. In a fluid, it's typically the viscosity of the fluid. That's a big thing. And it's also the size of the particles. The size of the particles or the Brownian motion is inversely proportional to the size of the particles. This is because the bigger your particle is, the less momentum transfer is gonna happen because it's much more massive in comparison. Well, the same amount of transfer happens, but it's reflected less on the velocity due to its higher mass. Let's take a look at the quick simulation now. So this is a video or a simulation by Boston University. I'm just gonna play it here. And what it's doing is we can clearly see that over here the particles is creating momentarily imbalances and collisions, causing it to vibrate from side to side and move about. If, let's say, we increase the temperature a bit over here, that's increasing the velocity of these gaseous particles around and increasing the impact they have on the ball or the lid. This is what Brownian motion essentially is, and it's what causes diffusion. Einstein actually figured out Avogadro, or formulated an experiment or thought of one, where one can figure out Avogadro's constant by finding out the diffusion coefficient.